Hello everyone, it's Paul Driscoll here, aka The Drisk. Now today I want to cover a much maligned game that in my opinion doesn't deserve the scorn heaped upon it. That game is Shinobi X, or Shinobi Legion as it's known outside of Europe. And it was released early on in the Sega Saturn's console's life, back in 1995. The game's plot involves a civil war and the ninjutsu code and his warriors being brought to the brink of extinction. The master is looking to rebuild his warriors and finds 3 children of promise. 2 brothers, Kazuma and Sho, and the master's own daughter, Aya. As time passes, Kazuma begins to rebel and becomes angry that the master refuses to teach him the ultimate technique that would make his own powers complete. When the master refuses yet again, Kazuma leaves, vowing to take his revenge. Now Kazuma has returned. He's made an army and acquired the resources to build a fortress. Although the old master has died, his pupils contain with them the secrets of the ultimate technique. Kazuma sets up a trap to lure Sho into his hideout and kidnaps Aya to use her as bait. The fate of the world now rests on Sho's hands. So there you go. Basically, to put it another way, you're a ninja who's got to go and kill everyone and rescue the girl. Now the game was developed internally by Sega in the AM7 or Overworks division. Now this was a development house run by Noyosha Uba, and he's the man who's worked on Streets of Rage, Revenge of Shinobi, Shinobi 3, and he also did Shinobi on the PS2. So this is definitely official canon to the Shinobi series. Bizarrely though, in the US, Sega didn't publish the game themselves, with Vic Tokai handling the publishing duties instead. Now rumour has it that Sega of America was so displeased with the game that they refused to publish it themselves. Whilst I don't know if that's true, it's certainly strange why Sega of America wouldn't publish this game. Over here in Europe, Sega did publish the game, calling it Shinobi X. But they did wait a whole year making changes. The reason for the delay was because they completely changed the music in the game, using instead veteran game musician Richard Jacks, asking him with the brief to work on a style much closer to the Revenge of the Shinobi game. Richard Jacks is perhaps best known for his work on the Headhunter game, but he's also handled many Sega games over the years. One of the highlights is being a sound engineer on the fantastic MSR, Metropolis Street Racer, but he's also most recently handled Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing Transformed, doing a lot of the remixed tracks. And he does an amazing job here with the music, and in my opinion it makes a much better game, with the music being much better than the other regions. Yes, in my mind this is a great sequel to the Shinobi games. It makes nice use of digital sprites, and it all moves around at a cracking pace and plays really well. The levels have been rightly criticised for being a little lacklustre and lacking in imagination, but it's certainly not terrible, and as you progress there are some truly spectacular parts to the game. Another criticism that's been raised towards the game is the video cutscenes being laughable. And yes, they are laughable, but only in that so bad it's good way. In fact, the video cutscenes, for me at least, is one of the many highlights of the game. No, I think the scorn was placed on this game comes from when it was released. You see, back in 1995, on a new console, the world was in the throes of a passionate love affair with 3D games, and everyone wanted things new in gaming. So a 2D Shinobi game went completely against that and what people expected and wanted from their newfangled consoles. Sure, there's a couple of bits not so great. Sometimes the controls feel a little stiff, particularly when trying to do some of the difficult jumps in the game. And there's dodgy bits of the game, such as the giant snake being one that immediately springs to mind, being so cheesy. But for me, that's all down to parts of the game's charm. Scenes like that with the snake invoke that feeling of watching those 1950s science fiction B-movies. You know, the ones where the special effects monster comes looming into view with all their low budget glory. All in all, Shinobi is a great game and well worth a play, especially by those who are fans of the Shinobi series. And everyone that I've shown this game to have gone in with it with misconceptions about how bad the game is, only to play the game for a couple of minutes, and I can't get them off for an hour later as they're still playing it and loving the game. I should also note the gore in the game. It's really is quite a gory game as you slice through and watch the bodies slice in two. It's certainly not a kid's game in that respect. Anyway, that's what I think about this game. I really quite enjoy it, but what did reviewers back in the day think about it? Well, GamePro in the US gave it 10 out of 10, but don't they always, saying, "For action fans and ninja nuts, Shinobi Legions is as close to a sure thing as they come. It's a mystery why Victor Kai, not Sega, is publishing this great Saturn game, but who cares? Join the Legions." Electronic Gaming Monthly gave the game 80% and said, "Shinobi Legions looks great and the gameplay isn't all that bad. Except for being a little too tight, the ninja can generally do what I want him to. There's plenty of moves to find and the action you'll face is relentless. I really like being able to block. The digitised video is of poor quality and the cinematics aren't anything special. The little touches, like being able to hack down the trees, add to it though. Shinobi Legions is a decent game, but does lack the spirit of its predecessor." The official Saturn magazine gave the game 3 out of 5 stars and said, "It plays well, but it fails to make any real use of the Saturn's capabilities," calling it another Shinobi game that somehow managed to find its way onto CD instead of a cartridge. And then they went on to suggest that the tacky full motion video sequences that were added was simply an excuse to release the game on the Saturn instead of on the Sega Genesis. In Japan, on the Famicom Tsushin magazine, they scored the game 26 out of 40, saying in summary that although Shinobi Legions is boasting improved graphics and superior sound, they unfavourably received the game because of the limited use of the new Saturn hardware capabilities, and they also criticised the use of live action cutscenes, ridiculing it for what they consider poor acting. So there you go, not as bad as you may have been led to believe, and I really suggest it's well worth tracking down and giving this game a go, particularly if you love the Shinobi games. So, until next time, see you later.
何のことだ。今頃は海の上だ。どこへ向かっている？極東、地下、牢獄。牢獄？何のために？誰の差し金だ？カズマ様。カズマ。俺が操る暗黒の力にかなうものは何もない。 この世では力ある者が世界の支配者となるのだ。だが真の無敵を誇るにはただ一つ足りないものがある。究極の力、民道最終奥義。それを手に入れるためにお前がどうしても邪魔なのだ。わかるか、将軍。貴様のことだ。